Listen, guys, I'm filming so impromptu, sitting at my desk. We're in a tornado warning. It doesn't faze me. I grew up in Tornado Alley. It's who I am. The last 5 days have been some of the most stressful of my life. But what I want to keep it real about today is something that really bothered me when my husband and I were at lunch. I'm sorry if this is shaky because I'm just holding my camera. So, we went to lunch and it was really late, really like a mid-afternoon lunch. And there was a booth next to us, and before you think, well, stop listening to other people's conversations, it was so loud we didn't have a choice. So, this only hit me like it did because, I'm dealing with some of these things along with my siblings, with my own dad, and thought we were with my mom before she passed. So, their conversation, they were probably in their 60s, I'm gonna guess. Their conversation was about, it was two older couples, and their conversation was about one of the ladies' mom is 96 and she lives alone at home and will not go to a nursing home. So the conversation continued in a way that they didn't care that she lived alone. They weren't concerned about her. What they were concerned about is their own inconvenience, having to check on her and help her. This woman gave birth to you. This woman flipping gave birth to you, and you're going to sit here and speak about your mother like this? I was seething. My husband was seething. He said, my mom's been dead 20 years, my dad 3 years. I would give anything to have to, go check on them and visit them and take care of them. And so this woman proceeds to talk about how the neighbors call her all the time because they don't think she should be living there alone. And she put her hearing aids in backwards. Okay, my husband's 53 with hearing aids, and sometimes he puts them in backwards. Well, sometimes she doesn't know if she's dressed or she's not dressed, or doesn't even realize. All right. Why shouldn't she live in her own home? That's her home. Do the best you can to make her comfortable and let her be where she can be. You hear all this stuff about the millennials. I hate that word, I really do. These people were far from millennials, and boy, they were all about their inconvenience. And their inconvenience in not being able to go to Arizona, or having to find somebody for this while they traveled. And it rubbed me so wrong. I just had to share. If I heard one more time, and she won't go to a nursing home, I literally wanted to look over there and say, excuse me, why the hell should she? It's her home. Clearly, she's not having any other problems. She's feeding herself. She's washing herself. She gets around just fine because they commented a few times about how physically she just gets around everywhere. And I don't know. I realize that there are different situations all the time. And I realize that most people do the best they can. And I like to think that most people aren't so self-centered and self-serving and self-important. But when you've lost a parent, you would do anything to be able to take care of them. And, with my dad, he's fallen and stuff like that. But he, the thing is that as long as they understand, especially if you live far away, if they understand someone can't be there all the time, and they understand that, the chance of this happening, is probably pretty good if we can't be there all the time, and they're fine with that, let them live out their life where they want to live out their life if it's possible. That's just how I feel. I'm not going to apologize for how I feel, but I understand that other people probably have very different situations, very different stories, very different everything. I sat there thinking, wow. And my husband said, Chris, please don't ever let somebody speak of me like that. Like I am nothing more than a burden who just needs to be put in a nursing home until they finally die. Because that is exactly like the tone of the conversation. And I couldn't do it. So, who knew you were going to have... I promise the Keeping It Real will not just be rants. It won't just be rants. But this was something that I just had to put out there because I feel like as a society, instead of respecting the elderly, we're becoming a society that is burdened by the elderly. And that makes my skin crawl. It makes my heart hurt. And just keeping it real. Bye, guys.